welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode of The Real Housewives of New York, the first episode of the reunion.
Yes, part 1.
Of apparently only part 2.
I was saying, like, I kind of want 3, but I think 2 is for the best.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can, beat a dead horse.
There's only so much piling onto Brynn you can do.
Yeah, it felt like a little rush, though, in certain spots. Not everyone got their own, package. It was,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think
there was a lot of glossing over, and I think a lot more jumping around. I think normally when there's 3 parts, he keeps it very chronological. Mm-hmm. But this was and then in Puerto Rico, your mom showed up, and then this, and then this, and then that, and then that, so.
Right. He was like, boom, boom, boom. All right.
Also, I don't know that, I think Erin's packet of depression was a lot. Let's talk about your mom having cancer. Let's show your dad. Let's talk about your abortion. Let's talk about you losing the crypto. Let's talk about you and Abe's problem. It's okay, Erin, you had a year. So I didn't need any more of that. But no, I think they were respectful of the plot points and getting to where they needed to go.
I feel like we should be wearing black or gold.
Oh, yeah. If we plan these sorts of
things. I know.
I should be wearing a $1,500 bathrobe is what I should be wearing. Should we just get our bathrobe and come upstairs?
We should have. And just she was very showgirls with that leg and in all black. I enjoyed it. But also, if you're Jenna Lyons, you can afford $1,500 bathrobe. Why are you gonna take it back?
I think having to admit you spent $1,500 on a bathrobe it's the principle of the matter.
But who's starting with her. With Jenna and the whole cast of it all.
Oh.
I don't understand how she is able to get away with that. Not showing her relationship and being full-time.
Yeah.
I get if you're a Mary Cosby, where, Robert Sr. will add nothing to the plot. But, this is, your new fiance. It's a new relationship since you got divorced, and it feels
I don't feel like we're missing. I mean, yeah, we're missing some, detail, some nuance of her life and everything. But
same with Mr. Connecticut and Ubah. If you're going to be full time, I need not every aspect, but I need a well-rounded version of yourself.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm missing anything out with either of those people being not on the show. No,
I think no, but if you're Ubah and you talk all about Mr. Connecticut, I feel like he needs to at least do a scene, because otherwise you're not. Everyone else is doing stuff. Even I'm sure Sai's husband doesn't really like filming because he's not really on very often, but he still will film. So it's Abe. Pavit,
I think Abe and Pavit both like being on the show.
Right.
I think they enjoy being part of the show. Same thing with Mel. I think, they want to be on the show.
I think Mel was befuddled by the show.
I think Mel was, but yeah. But I think it's a different conversation as far as if Ubah and Jenna, will they be back next year? If there is a next year, I think that question could come up as well, we need Oliver to be on camera at least once. We need to get Cass on once or twice.
Right.
It's I think that's negotiation that they both sides have to make a better deal for themselves, but also to make a better show.
Right. If you are moving in with this man, or if you are also cohabitating with this woman and you are you're engaged, and Ubah, her hope is to have children with this person, that is your personal story. That's a huge part of it. So to not have the reaction and the discussion with him, not that you need a partner to make you whole, but this is Housewives. You need a personal story in order to, a more well-rounded one, in order to be full-time.
I don't know, but I mean, that makes it sound then like the women who are single have less of a presence on the show because they don't have a man in their life.
But I think with Brynn, whether it's...
When she has Gideon.
Yeah, but I didn't even need Gideon. It's she shared everything about her life,
right?
All elements. So if she had a man, she would show him. So it's not about, it's just this is a huge part of your life. You're in love, you're so happy, and you're not showing it.
I suppose. I don't know. I was thinking more about the other franchises where there's just single women, and you're I don't think it's any less of a show because there's not
not less of a show. Not less of a show, but it's it seems like special treatment. And that shouldn't be the case because that's not what the show is about.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. So I'm
not bothered by it. I'm just saying I think it's unfair to the other women, not just on the show, but also in other cities.
Yeah, no, I can't debate that with you because I just don't have an opinion really.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, moving on.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting point for sure. But it'll fall the way it falls. Yeah. Moving on to where though?
Well, I think going back to like where it started, watching Brynn watch the show, which is like,
first off, like, okay, talk about like doing your homework or not doing it in this case. Like that show, granted, when did that show air? Or she had access to it well before, at least a couple of days before. I figure that's the sort of thing you watch, let sink in, and then watch it again, and then become prepared.
Yeah.
Like
they give them all the episodes before the reading so they can be prepared. So I think she maybe thought like it'll be a long day in glam, so I can, so I can watch this while I'm getting glammed.
Or maybe have it fresh in her mind and everything.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I feel like you need to let that sink in and develop enough. But I'm also one of those people that will, have the argument 3 days after the fact and be like, oh, I should have said, So I would want to give myself time for that to happen.
We also like to watch, like, especially that last episode of how just... insane it was. I can't imagine like watching that on my phone as I'm getting my hair done.
Yeah.
Like, can you stop with the blow dryer for a second?
Right. Having people pretty much call you a liar and like,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting to like see that fourth wall, or I guess not even the fourth wall, but just like that behind the scenes part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they get out there. So he's bouncing around.
Yeah, I bounced. And ultimately, where was the next big thing that landed on? Oh, they brought up, Pavit not apologizing. And I'm sorry, working on it. He's working on it. How much work do you have to do?
Is he writing a letter?
Yeah.
Is he writing
Is he going to therapy? Is he having salsa with his therapist? Like trying to figure this out? Like,
it's a simple thing. It could be a text. It could be like, is he waiting for if we get picked up for another season, then he'll say it? Because God, I mean, he has to, if they get picked up for another season, he has to apologize on camera.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, just, you called her a bipolar bitch.
And it's not even necessarily an apology that is necessary. I mean, that would be nice, but just an acknowledgement on his behalf that that's not a cool thing to say.
If it's not an apology, I'd be like, screw you if I was Sai. Like, I'm not saying we need to be besties, obviously, but just like, I apologize for saying that. And like, when Jessel tried to like bring up the whole, let me go back.
At least she said it's not apples to apples.
But it was still, just to bring it up, was just dumb. Let me just say this. Sai to go, even though I did not like Pavit, I still do not like Pavit, and I'm definitely Team Sai. They should not have insinuated that he was going to Vietnam to bang chicks. 1. 2, that does not erase what he said about her. 3, it's ridiculous that he has not apologized. Like, said something. Like,
right.
I would love it on camera, but even was like, just like, through his wife, like just some, you don't say that about a woman as a man.
Right.
And God knows if it had been the other way around and David, Sai's husband, had said that about Jessel, he would have been crucified. But the only reason people were like so up Jessel's ass last season, all the fans, and she was the fan favorite and the breakout star, and now she's the third on the couch. It would have been gone a different way. So like, Pavit got a pass because people just didn't like Sai and they love Jessel. But I say screw that.
Yeah.
So
I think
accountability. So yeah, and then you jump to Raquel, and nothing's really changed with her mother, which is disappointing, but not unexpected. I mean,
also the fact that that all hinges on being able to FaceTime on an iPad.
I mean. Sorry, that was very nasally. I mean,
also, doesn't she have an iPhone? Couldn't she just like couldn't you just send her a link to a Zoom call and put that?
And it's about your grandchildren, like your only grandchildren. Like, why are you so reluctant? Do they still talk on the phone?
I'm assuming so. I don't know.
It's really baffling. Like, and would this be the case if she was still with her husband?
And that's the thing that like, part of me doesn't really like worry about it or think about it when it's like she's just an independent grandmother, living her life in Puerto Rico. Like, she's not focusing on the kids. But the fact that Raquel said that like things were completely different when she was married to a man, that her mother would visit and spend a lot of time with the kids. So what's changed? The pandemic happened. I think that was part of it. And so,
it's convenient too.
Right. But, I don't want to get off the couch sometimes. I wouldn't want to get off my couch, get on an airplane, go to New York,
Yeah, I think just the underlying issue is that her mother is not accepting completely of her, I think on paper, but I think she would be really uncomfortable meeting Mel and really participating in her daughter's life as a lesbian.
And it could be the unknown that's frightening. Like, I'm sure if she got on the plane and got there, like, oh, this is exactly the same. It just happens to be someone else.
Yeah, it's your same daughter. It's your same grandchildren.
Yeah, exactly.
Mel is a new factor, but like it's, yeah.
Yeah. So that's...
Fix the iPad, man. Like, it's just so weird.
Or just, you have money, buy a new iPad, set it up, send it to her, and she has no excuse.
Does she not have a laptop because she's not Zoom?
She has a phone. A phone will do that.
Oh, you're right.
Too.
You're right.
So just, I don't know why FaceTime, it has to be like, they can have a Google chat.
And he was like, really like, have you seen the carrier picture?
Yeah.
Did you write a 3-page letter?
About Andy doing the most for someone. He was leading Brynn to water there.
Yes. I think it's not something I wasn't thinking too. Like, do you use humor to mask your pain? Mm-hmm. But I think he was trying to set up like, you're not a monster.
Right.
You use humor to, block out what happened to you. But I think she was just like, and she went with it, but he definitely was really trying to help her.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I think he was being a little invasive, like trying like I don't think he was his intention at all, but it was like, relive this for us, why don't you? And it just seemed like he was asking some questions that, like, I don't know, I wouldn't be comfortable asking someone, and I'm a very, oblivious, blunt person.
I think that probably producers and fans would want to know, not that it matters, like if she didn't know.
That's my problem. And then the fact that those details aren't details that, like, I feel make the situation any more real. Like, I think it's real alone on what she said in her experience, but
I thought it was more awkward when Erin... And I was like, tread carefully.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you want this guy to not do this to somebody else, but Brynn, it's hard to think beyond your own trauma and about how you can help other people. And, especially if you know the guy, I think he might work in her industry. It's just, there's more factors than she could deal with.
Yeah, but also to say that out loud just is, what are you supposed to take away from saying that like Brynn doesn't want that to happen, that like Brynn hasn't thought about that?
That she's being selfish or something?
Yeah. And so like, and the only conclusion you can really draw when Erin says that, if you're Brynn, honestly, is that like, thanks. You're pretty much saying that, like, I'm letting him get away with this because I'm not doing more.
And it's so obvious. I mean, it should be obvious, but Jenna had to point it out. When this comes out, typically the woman is put on trial and she's questioned about everything about her character, to how she was dressed, to whatever. So it's just not that easy of going to the police and giving your statement. Especially, they make it so much harder on the woman to prove it. And if you don't have a rape kit, et cetera, then, like Brynn said, it's like, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about, I was assaulted and I want to try to get through to the next moment.
Right. And I think what she said was also important, is that, you don't think of at the time that, you have to do all these things. Like, it's not top of mind. You're like, I'm just trying to get this behind me, and then by the time you realize you should do something about it, it's too late to get the...
Yeah, you're trying to like put one foot in front of the other and get to the other side of it. So
yeah, I
think in that respect, she did the best that she could. And honestly, I think that was, a really honest moment for her. Yeah. And especially like everything else being called into question, I think it's good that she had that moment. And then also, to be honestly, for her to say like, I feel worse, not like... Because I think the expectation is like, you get it all out and you feel uplifted by other people and your truth is out there. But, it could be that's not for everybody. And, she feels worse.
Right. Having other people know her business
and judge it.
Yeah, exactly.
And think differently of her.
I did like that, Brynn and Ubah were at least able to have that moment where, Brynn acknowledged, like, I know that I know that you feel this for me, and I know you're not mad at me about this, and at least have that moment.
Yeah.
And for Ubah to acknowledge it too, like,
and she was crying about it. Like, she's like, despite where they are, it's like you feel for this as, this was my good friend. I don't think they're ever going to be friends again.
Right.
And I feel horrible for her.
Yeah, and then like I think that they acknowledge this isn't the problem we have with each other. This isn't like this. I feel horrible for you. Almost, I guess the unspoken part is, had you actually told this to me, and I would have been sympathetic and it would have been different. But that's not how things went down. But what was interesting was I thought all this was going to lead into Jenna and Jessel like kind of piling on Brynn. I didn't realize that it was the complete opposite, that it was more about...
Everyone really was very supportive of her of
Brynn, and of course, I mean, how can you not be? When it comes to an assault like that, and that factor in your life. But yeah, so what ended up being the kind of the big explosive part of the reunion was
the Jessel Pavit of it all.
Yeah, and I didn't put those the good editing for the trailer, because I didn't put the two together that it was going to be about Jessel, where Brynn.
I thought when Jenna breaks down, it was going to be about the Ubah thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, but I mean,
but just like Jenna too, like I believed what Brynn said, that Jessel said that dude was love of her life and
Right.
And for Brynn knew that wasn't true.
But not at the time. Wait, Brynn's saying not at the time. She's saying when she watched it back, she realized it wasn't true, that she misspoke.
But it was pretty dead on. Like she was literally like, they couldn't be together because he was black. He was the love of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get that mistaken with that was the best hookup of my life?
True.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see
where Jessel being like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I like that, she was really like, no, I don't need your apology right now. I need you to shut up and let me vent this out.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Jenna to just chime in and be like, how could you do that to her? Like Jessel, who I think is her closest, or was her closest friend on the show, and really
Brynn's closest friend?
Brynn's closest friend.
Yeah.
And really stood by her all season. And then I feel like she was like, man, I got burned like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, between that and the whole everyone saying the common factor is Brynn, Sai being like, no, you're not going to turn this around on me. You did this to yourself. You've lied. You spun things. You put yourself in this position.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me that.
Now, where I'm still I won't die on this hill. I think the whole idea that they were talking behind her back, whatever. People.
Who's back?
Jessel's back.
Oh, right.
They had that little, moment where the three of them were just, talking shit about her. People do that. I mean,
yeah, it's not that they hate Jessel. They're just being catty.
Yeah, and it's not. Again, it's not.
I think it gets tricky when it comes to the whole he was the love of her life part. It's one thing to be she's changed. She loves the glamour of being on Housewives.
Right.
And she's had to glow up and she got her teeth done, whatever. By the way, Andy, on her neck, Andy was like, I'm going to put my foot on your neck and you're going to tell me exactly what you had done. I need some itemized receipts. I need a before and after shot.
Yeah.
He was really now period. It's whoa.
Well, I mean, I think that she was talking about facial stuff and didn't consider the teeth as being part of it. And then, he's now well, if she's not calling the teeth surgery, what else is, going on?
Well, also Brynn made it seem like there was more. She's and I was what else? Did she have full facelift? She's only 40.
Yeah. No, but it's an interesting conversation on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking a little smack behind your friend's back. I mean, especially if it's from a place of love. I have a handful of friends where, we communicate with sarcasm.
Right.
In that, we make fun because we love. We care, But it's not for everyone, and I get it. And, I've seen...
I think she would have been fine with it until it got to that point.
Yeah, I think that their added element and added layer is that, I don't think they were thinking about, sitting down and having to rewatch this. And then I never really thought about the fact that,
Pavit would see this.
Well, no, I thought Pavit would see it, but I think Pavit makes so what? It's theatrics for the show. So for her to be I had to tell him that that's not true. I never said that. And he didn't believe me. I was okay, well, if that actually happened, which I believe it did,
yeah.
That's something I never would have anticipated either. And it's okay, well, that's shitty. Sorry,
Yeah.
But
it just went way Brynn just like stirred up the wrong thing.
Yeah, and she tried again, like even as Jenna was getting a little lectury about it, which is fine, I guess. Like you don't need to be talking. I mean, you do and you don't, but like she started talking to Brynn like she was one of her children. Like no, and just kind of
just say you're sorry.
Exactly. So. But that is true. Brynn kept trying to qualify it and be like, well, but it's like, no, just acknowledge it's a shitty thing to do and say you're sorry and let's move on.
Acknowledge that she's hurt.
Right.
And she's embarrassed and that she was really called out hard by both her husband and his parents. Yeah,
but we completely forgot they even touched on all the, the Ubergate and
oh god, like so many things. Like all go back
but
to
they
her.
all go back to Brynn not taking and I think she might have kind of admitted to a little bit of like, okay, there's always embellishment, but like she still, even after she was saying like, I might sauce it up a little bit, like going back and just made it all like, but I know I don't do that.
Yeah, but it's like you did. You made Jenna think that Sai hated her, and you made Jenna think that Erin thought she was poor.
Right.
So you got all your friends in trouble, and then you sat back and let it play out because you were producing.
Right. Although I will say too, Erin is really good at either believing she never said things or making everyone believe she never said things, because Erin. They totally went back to counted all 6 of the horrible things they said about
that was pretty funny.
Although I would say they're not all 6 things were horrible. No. But I'd say 2 of those things were at least horrible.
Soulless was pretty bad.
Soulless is pretty bad. But
production was on Brynn's side in that little like montage.
Yeah. Knowing what's coming, they can't. It
needs to be a little bit balanced.
Yeah. So, but no, overall, I think a good first episode of the reunion, and I think they're speeding through some things, but maybe next episode will.
Well, it's like Erin got that full package because that was like a big point of contention for like 2 episodes about selling the Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And then,
So as I didn't mention the whole thing about the shrooms.
Oh, how she like freaked out when they were at the ice cream place.
I'd like to hear like, well, we were so open and kind of wacky last season. Why is it such a big deal this season? Mm-hmm. But they did not get there.
I forgot about the shrooms. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
because you're on shrooms.
I'm not on shrooms. What, am I on shrooms?
You're not on shrooms.
I'm not on shrooms. Not on a Tuesday. Wednesday.
God, it's only Tuesday.
I know.
I can't even.
Along this whole working thing. Got to buy that right lottery ticket.
I know. On a total shallow note, I think this is one of the best dressed reunions for sure. Even Brynn's look, I don't totally love it, but like it was very glamorous and different. But it was swallowing her.
For her to be like, mine's $7,000 and I paid for it. Okay, so now you have a $7,000 thing that's gonna hang.
You can never wear again.
She'll wear it again.
Around the house, to feed the dog.
She'll wear it. She'll have many opportunities to wear it in places where people are gonna be like, okay, cool. Not everyone's watching the Real Housewives reunion.
Well, that's what you're known for. They're like, right.
But
even that, but I did swallow her when she was sitting down, like Mary's.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. Thing. I liked what they're all wearing. I think now
I loved the theme. I thought like it was very cohesive.
Now that I've seen it all on camera, Erin just looks like she's photoshopped onto her dress. Uh-huh. Like she's got like a little like almost South Park Canadian head just kind of bobbling on top.
I loved her hair and her makeup. And I didn't totally love it. I like they fixed the turtleneck. They rolled it down in between segments. But I love the color on her. Didn't totally love the dress, but I loved the color on her.
Right.
And then I think that Sai's dress did swallow her a bit.
Yeah.
But I think it was still cool.
And also having the 2 voluminous dresses next to each other on the couch is a lot.
Oh, yes, but I did love that dress on Raquel because it looked very like kind of 50s-ish. Mm-hmm. And when she was sitting down, like how it like flared up
and
a little bit.
And her shoes are amazing.
So nice, yeah. And the hair and like the makeup. And then Ubah's makeup with the gold.
Ubah for wearing kind of such a plain dress, I think the style makes up for it.
I think the hair and like the bracelets really put together.
Yeah.
And then I mean, Jenna is Jenna, and I think that suits her. She's like, I don't know where to go for the jeans. It's like, into just a regular.
Didn't he make a joke or something about like showing up in a bathrobe? I feel like if he had, he would have said something about it. But
yeah, like you took me up on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I love that it's like Balenciaga.
I'm filling in. Yeah. I don't know that I love that it's Balenciaga, but
I think it's just funny. Of course it's Balenciaga because it's like ridiculous and overpriced.
Also, I don't know. I would expect $1,500 is cheap for a Balenciaga bathroom.
I would think it would be more. Like, I was going to say like 5,000.
That's what I thought. Like 4,000 for a bathroom.
Yeah, was it on sale?
It must have been. Maybe that's the answer. We should get that TikTok person who does how much it cost.
Yes.
Find out what she's saying.
And I think Jessel's dress kind of swallowed her. It didn't really like show up on when she was sitting down.
Right.
It was a better standing up dress.
Right. I agree with that.
Same with size. But you got to have a good dress that's going to like work well sitting and standing.
Yeah. Speaking of Sai, though, Sai is definitely being much more vocal, not letting Brynn off the hook with things, and definitely injecting herself into the conversation more.
I don't even know what you do.
Yeah. Did you take that to mean what I thought it was? Like, I do your job, being like, I'm an influencer. I market things. I
think it's more so marketing, which I guess influencing is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking more so with Sai that like, she was not as vocal during the season, like in scene. Mm-hmm. So I think she was making up for it because it is like you're auditioning for the next year. Yeah. You know? So
after watching herself, she's like, oh, crap, I got to be more in the moment.
Yeah. I was surprised that she's not in therapy anymore. Like, you think
4 months, though. I mean, that's not very much therapy to begin with.
She's like, I'm healed.
Well, I mean, especially if it's not covered by insurance, that shit gets expensive.
Oh, that's true.
Like $300. I mean, not that $300 is nothing to her, but $300 a whack. You're like, you got to, you go. I want you to go like once a week for 4 months. That's a lot of money.
It's funny because like we think of them like, oh, you have, you're on TV, you must have like so much money, you're, New York. But when Ubah said, a little tired, my place was too expensive, I got rid of it. And
we both gasped because we're like, well, it must have been rent control. Like, what?
I mean, like the Carrie Bradshaw, was like, are you kidding?
I was like, what?
You don't get rid of your apartment in New York.
You hang on to that.
Oh my God.
But hers may not have been rent controlled. And
it leaked. There was
apparently, some water damage and stuff. So
still, I was like, what if it doesn't work out?
But maybe Ubah's just like you, where she's all like, I've had my time in the city. I'm ready for the suburbs now. I'm a Connecticut girl.
Well, but like this was a solid thing. Like it made sense that one move with you in San Francisco and then get this place out here and buy something. It was a little scary, but like, I mean, I just hope she and Miss Connecticut work out because like that's an apartment in New York. I'm
sure she can get another one if she needs one, or maybe she's going to want to live in Connecticut.
Maybe so.
So she can commute in. Fine. She'll be Bridge and Tunnel. She's good.
Bridge and Tunnel. I feel like Bridge and Tunnel is more like Jersey.
It usually is referring to Jersey, but she'll be fine. She'll be the Metro North. That's fine. She can take the Metro North in. That I know from my trip.
As long as we see her house in Connecticut, I'm just saying.
Does Oliver have to be there?
Oh, Oliver just left. Oh gosh, just missed him.
He's on a business trip.
Okay, George Glass.
Yeah. That's my husband, Oliver. Oliver Glass. Anyway, we are incredibly tired.
Oh my God.
And
I think we could.
No, we did.
Tired.
I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah.
Like still like.
Yeah, we
I don't know why I'm stopping.
We're firing on some sort of cylinders. Maybe not all six.
Not all six.
But we're firing on some.
Yes. But yeah, overall, looking forward to the conclusion next week.
Yeah.
And
we got Salt Lake tomorrow. So that'll be an exciting episode.
Right.
We'll be awake for that one.
Yes.
And thanks for listening to us on our sleepy end of the night podcast. Hopefully it wasn't too sleepy.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Comment. Yes. Comment.
We like the comments. They're really interesting.
Yeah. And they're getting to be more.
Yeah.
What we're also noticing on YouTube, we're getting some dislikes. Thumbs down.
It's like, that's your opinion, but like, we're just trying to make some content, people.
Hurts my feelings.
Right.
Do you want to see me cry?
I like the one fan, I think it was for Beverly Hills, and when they said they're Team Dorit, but they still like us. And it's like, thank you.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Like there are other opinions.
It's like they're Team Dorit, but they like us guys. But like you guys. Yeah, we're good guys to like.
Yes, I think so.
All right. Well, I'm going to go now. So until next time, I'm going to drink my milk.
Until next time.